just going his own way. Classic Brad. How's that worked out for you in your life, Brad?
Pretty good. 90% of the time.
90% of the time. Yeah, right. Well, hello everybody and welcome. We are back and it is a wet day. I think we had about maybe 5-6 mils, sort of drizzly rain yesterday. Today is the 14th, I believe, of August. So yeah, it's not making a terrible mess, but it is just a bit damp about, so we've got to be a bit wary. But we're here with the headers. We've got Brad here actually. He's slowly getting back into getting into the rhythm. So yeah, he can make all the decisions. He's currently on the phone, as you can see, just prancing around. Either he's just pretending he's on the phone, I'm not quite sure yet, but it's it's all good. But as you can see, it's interesting drive to get here, and we got the grader tyre. So a bit of a long story. I'll keep it very brief, but we were going to leave the tyre on here and just get the guys from town to come out, because we do need to replace some tyres on this header, and I was just waiting to hear back from the other guys when they were on holiday what exactly they wanted to do, and I didn't get told, so we left it. But anyway, so yeah, just decided to whip it off, take it into town and get him to fix it in there, and we'll whack that on. But we've also got a bit of a plan of attack with the headers here. For those that have followed, we've got a fair bit of cracking happening here and all of that. This is where the feeder house mounts, so very important. But yeah, we're going to V it all out. Got to take this bracket off, and then we'll be welding in there and plating that if we can, where we can. We've got some damage up here, so I need to get in the grain bin, and I think you can see in there's some little like that's how the concaves adjust. You tighten and tighten up your concaves, which are those things there, and that's just how you beat up the material going through there a bit harder, so you can thrash it. So we need to get that whole plate out because there's a bit of damage up further. So that's one job, and we're just got a few of those sort of things to do, sort of the bigger repairs. We've managed to do most of the smaller repairs, but yeah, it's just those sort of bigger ones we'll probably get stuck into now. But yeah, it's looking good, nice and green out there, so that's always a good sign. Right, well, the tyre's on there. Brad's how you going, Brad? You getting into it? Still on holiday mode, or a bit rude?
A bit rusty, eh? Picking up problems like nothing.
You're picking up problems?
Yeah. Leaking rams. What sort of a show?
Yeah, it is a leaking ram. Well, it's had a fair bit of pressure on it for a while. You didn't get back to me and tell me that you wanted to go ahead with the tyres. So I'm going to climb up and get in the bin, and hopefully I've got all the tools I need. Pockets are full, hands are full. I could nearly get away with a sleep in here, I reckon. I'll make sure to turn the camera off though. So under this plate is where this plate here should be all I need to get to, but I'll see. Right, not very often do I get accused of getting caught up in work. This is a classic example. There was no way I could get the camera down in there to show what I was doing. But basically, you got these bits and those bits, and they are the linkages for that and that, which lift the plate up and down, which I'll show you. It fell down there, so I'll show you in a little bit when I get down. So yeah, that's it, at least for the minute. There's a bit of mess still in there. Usually after harvest we give it a really good clean, pull this all off, wash that all down, but it was just a weird harvest where we weren't quite sure if we were finished or not, and then we got caught doing other stuff. Classic farmers. So I'll tidy off here. You might have some morning tea. Well, actually, I'll get down and I'll show you the bit that fell down, and I'll explain that. Then we'll have morning tea. Otherwise, I'll forget. Now, I don't think it came completely out. Yeah, you can see that. I'll get right in there. You can see that centre bit there. Where's this? Going to run out of hands. So, yeah, that whole centre plate there, those little grooves there are what the concaves rest in, and that moves up and down to adjust how tight your concaves go against the rotor. But you can see there, that's all damaged and partially pulled apart. So that's what we're trying to fix. So we'll have to come up with a plan to get that the rest of the way out, but that's the hard bit's done, so that's good. Right, we actually got that plate out. I'll show you that in a tick. We got Brad, just got the generator here because we don't actually have an extension cord for the welder. Anyway, oversight, we still need to do that at some point. But yeah, Brad's been working on this one. You might remember this one was cracked right out, so he's been V'ing that right out, and he's going to yeah, do a bit of support work on that now. So this one should be relatively easy because yeah, it's not cracked out elsewhere, I don't believe. It just sort of tore out of that end piece there. We're still got to do, yeah, this one where we've just been pulling off plates and that to access all the different places where it's cracked. You can see in here it's all cracked around there. Oh, there's a bit of glare. And yeah, then we're going to pull this plate off here and keep the rotors in there with a strap, and yeah, then we can get right in there and get every crack. It's no good doing a 90-95% job on that. So the plate that we pulled out, it's quite a hefty thing. This is it here. So if you can imagine, that sits up like that and the rotors are spinning on each side like this. So when we did have a rasp bar come through, but even if it's a rock or a rasp bar comes through, chances are this is possibly one of the first things to get hit. So yeah, that's what's happened. We've actually patched this up one time before, which would have been fine, but yeah, it's obviously copped a massive blow. You even see here it's all just gouged out. Now, because funds are a little tight, we're not going to get a new one at this stage. We're going to just get some steel and replace this whole section. Should just be cut these welds all along there and then replace that as well, so on both sides. So it'll take a bit of time, but yeah, well, I think that's what we're going to do. So there might be a few time lapses now of yeah, all the different things going on. Right, well, I made a bit of a mess, but we got the job done. So yeah, I've just only got the one side, obviously. I don't think you need to see me do the other side, but that's the general gist. So yeah, there's a fair bit of carnage on these bits, and it was actually quite thin anyway, so it was not that far from probably wearing right through. So yeah, we just got to get the, I think it's 3mm plate was what was there. This one might be a bit thicker actually. Might be 3 or 4mm. So we'll get some of that, cut it up, and start rebuilding. I don't know whether we'll get the metal today, but that'll be yeah, that'll be something to do. But if I get this all prepped and ready, at least that'll be a start. All done. Well, got it all tied it up ready. When the bits of metal, well, I think I'm heading to town in the morning, so I'll grab them in the morning. I think I've got shop in town. They're going to cut them up the right size. we'll before we have some lunch, we'll see what Brad's been.
Look away.
He's after I told him that it's no good going to be, it's not going to work to weld the seat base because it'll just snap again. I think he's just doing his Brad thing and just going his own way. Classic Brad. How's that worked out for you in your life, Brad?
Pretty good. 90% of the time.
90% of the time. Yeah, right. Over here, the update here is, got the rotors all braced back. It's not the end of the world to pull the rotors out. It's just hard to get them back in there at the other end. So, you try to avoid that just to save a fair bit of mucking because you actually got to lift the back end of it and push it in. It's all here ready to weld, so we can get right around to that crack up there now. Who knows, we might actually be all ready for harvest maybe a couple of weeks before it starts. That'd be nice. Rightio guys, it is the end of today. I've already shut the lights down, so it's a bit dark in here. I can't quite remember what we were last doing. There's been just a couple other little jobs we've done, and Johnny's V'd out all of the welds here, all the cracks, if you can see that. We went through actually and jacked up all the rear wheels and tested for any movement. That's something we do every year just to catch any wheel bearing issues or pivot issues, whatever. So that's just part of our yearly inspection. So that's done. Really, all we've got to do is we're waiting on a little part for the seat. Then that can go back together. Then once we weld up all of this and get the rotor assembly back together and the concave adjuster back together, once I weld that up tomorrow, we're kicking goals. I think we're going to put 2 new tyres on this on the front. We're not going to do the 4. I think there's 2 of them are actually a bit better than the others as well. I'm not maybe, but we do. The main reason for replacing them is they got good tread, but the annoying part is I think this one's the worst one. Yeah, you might be able to just see there's a good old crack there, and it's just starting to split. So not what you want going into harvest. So we'll probably put the new tyres on the inside. Because that's where most of the weight is, and that's where you want your load to be, is on the inside. Just so you don't stress out your rims, your outer rims more than you have to. So I think that's about it. We got a short, sharp shower there before. It might have only been a mil or 2, but it's just so. We just keep getting rain that it's just so sloppy, very, very slippery. So anyway, I'll catch you guys tomorrow. I've got to go to town, do a couple of jobs, pick up a couple of things, and then I'll be back out here, I think, at this stage. But I'm not the boss anymore, so plans could change very quickly. Well, guys, it is another day. It's almost the afternoon already. I've been to town, got a few bits and pieces. I've got Johnny over there putting a new tub on our homemade quad trailer. Actually, that might be interesting for some. I should, when he's not welding, I should show you that. Maybe bear with me, I'll show you that later. I don't want to get blinded just at this stage. So, I got the steel from town, the 5mm plate. I'll stick you up here. This is just a very casual, uninteresting section of the video. But that goes there. Goes in there. And I've got to hold it all together somehow while I sit that like that. And basically that's how it's going to be. Back to original. So that is that. These are all the old bits that I had to cut off, and you can see here there's been I don't know how many tons, many thousands of tons go through it. But you can see here, it's just gone real thin, so should last another 2,500 rotor hours at least. Well, I think Johnny's finished welding over here. I should show you this trailer. We've had it for a few years. Phil and I made it, I don't know how long ago. Anyway, a fair while ago, maybe 6 years, something like that. And yeah, we designed it so you could go in the paddock and pick rocks just for the odd rock, and you'd tow it behind the quad. So we made it track the same as the quad and put quad tyres on it and all of that fun stuff. Put a little platform on the front so you could even have as a step to put rocks in, but also you could just have someone, as you're going really slow through the paddock, someone could stand up there and hop off and grab the rocks. But we used a shuttle as the tub, and we made a tipper mechanism, and Johnny's just put a new shuttle tub on there because the original one's finally basically tore off and disintegrated. But it's a 2-stage pivot, so that stopper comes down and hits the tyres as a bit of a bumper, and then you lift it up, and just need to modify that little bit there, but and you lift that up and you can tip it right over on its lid, so you can get all the last bit of it all off. So that's yeah, pretty handy. It hasn't given up anywhere important yet, just the disposable little tub, so that's good. Actually, I probably should leave the glove on. I'm going to burn myself if I don't. So I got that all done. And yeah, the idea is that the material's coming this way. So yeah, just don't want anything that it can snag on. This side doesn't matter as much, but that should be strong enough. Hopefully don't have to pull it out again. But yeah, I mean, it was a pretty simple setup. So yeah, I just got to do the other side, and then the fun part will be getting that back in. That'll be a bit of a pain, but it is what it is. Well guys, I got to duck to town for some unforeseen circumstances. I've got to pick some kids up from school, so I am taking off here. There's only a couple of hours left in the day, but yeah, she's still sloppy. Got about another 8 mil here last night, I think. So she's pretty slippery. Try not to end up in the paddock. But yeah, it's looking like I'll be back down here tomorrow to finish off some of those jobs with the header. Well, we'll see you guys tomorrow, I think. Well, I'm back. It is another day, and very foggy this morning. Very foggy. You can even see with the lights in the shed here, it's just a whole heap of fog in here, and yeah, it's a bit gloomy really. Johnny isn't here today, but he, because I had to duck off yesterday, he continued on with the house in here. And everyone will be pleased to know that we updated our overflow. So you might remember we had a plastic overflow tank there, and it kept cracking after about 2 years. Every 2 years we'd have to put a new one on, and then it would always break right when you didn't want it to. Right, so we've got all these to do. And Phil made up an extension cord. We probably don't mention it that much, but Phil is an electrician, so he's made up a 3-phase extension lead for that welder, because currently the only way we could weld out here was by using the 3-phase light tower, and or obviously right against the wall where our power points are. So yeah, Phil's an electrician. I'm an auto electrician, or was. Not claiming I was a very good one. But Brad was an engine reconditioner, so that explains his tendency to fiddle and get the most out of things. And actually Dad, back in the day, he was a mechanic. So we're all pretty well trained enough that we can get ourselves into a fair bit of trouble, so that's how we roll. So I'll wait for the other boys. I'll just probably tidy up a bit here and there. But yeah, we've got to get this centre plate for the concaves. Got to get that in the header. So that's the one I welded up yesterday. So that should be all good to go. And Brad's got the seat base on the way. He's just had to, where is it? These little rollers. It's too hard to find, but there's little rollers there that we're somehow missing one, whether it broke or we just lost it. So he's making one up out of nylon, and then that seat should be able to go back together, and hopefully it'll all be sorted. Well guys, again, I've already done the job. I haven't filmed it. I'm just taking over from Brad, who forgets to film things a bit, don't you?
Yep, I'm rubbing off.
So we got that center thing in. It was actually more that it was just hard to film because it was tight in there and you couldn't really see anything. So but basically that plate that I welded up, we had to slide in and up in between the two rotors, and then I did all the connections in the bin. So I pulled that plate, and there's another plate on the front, and then you can yeah, all those connections, those bars that lift that plate up and down. I did say to Brad he could get the camera and do a bit of an update, but he's still in holiday mode.
I didn't push the button.
He forgot to push the button probably, yeah. No. So yeah, we've got this all welded up. That's looking good. Well, I won't get the torch. Paint makes it look good, doesn't it? Yep. So yeah, that's all welded up, reinforced, and looking good. We'll see. The proof is in the pudding, I guess, come harvest time, if Phil's front ends up detached from the header.
She'll hang on.
No, it does look like it's taken pretty good there, so should be good as new.
Yeah.
So
Lots of feet.
yes, so there's that. Just getting that plate back in for the rotor, and I think that's all. We haven't been overly productive, have we? Haven't overdone it today.
The seat.
Oh yeah, the seat's ready to go, is it?
We're kicking goals.
Kicking some goals. So guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. We're probably getting into the more maintenance-y, yeah, these sort of months, I guess, after planting and before harvest is just spraying and maintenance work. So because a lot of the ground is planted, we can't use the bulldozers, and it's been too wet, and the other guys have been on holidays. So I do apologise that the last few videos have been maybe a little less interesting than they maybe usually are. So we'll yeah, probably crank up the dozers at some point and do a bit of work on them, or yeah, get a few things done, and yeah, between that and getting ready for harvest, we should be relatively busy. So we'll yeah, thanks again guys, and we will catch you in the next one.